All right, the webinar is now live. Our audience is trickling in from the waiting room, as it were, to a much more exciting room. Welcome, everybody. We've got got a good crowd coming in. I love watching the numbers go up. It's very satisfying. It means all of our promotional efforts worked. Don't mind our oboist. You'll get to see her a little bit later in the program. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to tonight's virtual faculty recital featuring our cellist artist affiliate for the Department of Music, Barney Culver, and later his wife and oboist, Emily Brebach. Brebach? Brebach. Excellent. I am Leah Owenby. I am the Music Department's administrative assistant and also the faculty events coordinator for the Division of Academic Affairs at Agnes Scott College. I'm also an alum from the class of 2001. And we are so excited to welcome you to tonight's virtual faculty recital. This is the last of a series that we did this year during the pandemic to support our artist affiliates, many of whom have not been able to give our students lessons and obviously are all working musicians. And as we all know, the pandemic kind of put a damper on a lot of that. So we are so excited to close out the semester with Mr. Barney Culver tonight. These concerts are made possible by the James T. and Ella Rather Kirk Fund. It was established by alumna and trustee member Mary Wallace Kirk, who was the class of 1911 and came back as a trustee in 1917 and served for over 6 decades as a trustee of our college until her death in the 70s. She named this fund in honor of her parents, and it enriches and enhances the programs of art, literature, music, philosophy, and history on campus. So we gratefully acknowledge that fund this evening. Tonight, I want to introduce to you, many of you I'm sure know him already, our guest musician, Barney Culver, who is a cellist who teaches and performs throughout the southeastern United States. He attended the University of Michigan for his bachelor's degree in cello performance, studying with Anthony Elliott and Carnegie Mellon University for his master's degree in cello performance, where he studied with Ann Williams and David Primo. Culver enjoys teaching at Agnes Scott College. We made him say that. I'm just kidding. Hopefully you do enjoy teaching at Agnes Scott College. And plays often with the Atlanta Symphony, Opera, and Ballet, the Atlanta Pops Orchestra, and with symphonies in Charlotte, Savannah, Charleston, Tampa, Naples, and Sarasota. He will be playing some cello selections tonight, and then later a duet for oboe and cello with Emily Brebach, who plays oboe and English horn with the Atlanta Symphony. So welcome, Barney Culver. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be playing for us tonight.
Sure. We'll be starting off the program this evening with 2 Bach suites. The first and the second. The first is by far the most famous of the Bach suites in G major. It was in a bunch of various films and has been background for a lot of things. You may remember it from The Soloist with Jamie Foxx. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of music. I'll talk a little bit more about the background of the piece. It has kind of an interesting story, but we'll talk a little bit more about that between the suites here. But this first one is going to be the suite number 1 in G major. It's a bunch of movements. We have the prelude, the Allemande courante, the sarabande, we have the 2 minuets, and then we have the jig at the end. These are all, the prelude, of course, is an opening movement for the suites, and all the suites actually follow that same sort of movement sequence. But the rest of them are dance movements that are Baroque dances. Of course, Bach lived in the 1685 to 1750 and had composed in the style of the time. But here we'll start here with the suite number 1. Very good. That was the entire first suite of the Bach suites. He wrote 6 of them, 6 entire suites, which is absolutely incredible to think of. They when they were first written, they weren't really performed or recorded. Certainly not recorded, but they weren't performed widely, mostly because of a lot of cellists thought that they were more like an etude, like a technical work rather than something to be performed. So they literally sat on a shelf for almost centuries, really, until Pablo Casals found them in a library and brought them to light. He started performing them throughout his career, and then brought them to light with a whole bunch of other performers and the such, and to the point where it's now considered one of the sacred cello compositions. Interestingly enough, Bach never actually wrote any dynamics, never wrote any fingerings, never any bowings into the parts. They're just notes. So there's if you hopefully see a bunch of musicians perform them live, you'll hear a wide variety of interpretations of musicality, of tunings, of notes. Even the arguments can be made for lots of different things. So I'm certainly grateful for Pablo Casals to have brought them to the world of celloing.
I can't believe that they were like, kind of in hiding for so long. I mean, when you began to play the prelude, Bach's cello work is kind of like a fundamental staple of my exposure to classical music since childhood. So I'm like, how in the world did we miss out on this for so long?
Incredible. Yes, it's really something. Now we're going towards this towards the second suite. Now this one is in D minor. It's a to me a much more emotional suite of movements. Now I'm not going to demonstrate the various dances that we have here, but hopefully my playing is conveying the true nature of someone actually physically dancing and feeling a rhythm to which they can actually perform for whomever would like to listen and watch.
I'm turning off my video for these so as not to distract from your performance. And I've been told that I'm a very active listener. So I'm glad to know that this next suite is emotional. I will be sure to turn off my video during that as well.
There you go. Yeah, lots of kind of buried meanings here and there, but the movements are the same. With a prelude, allemande, courant. Sarabande, which is the slow movement. This particular suite has bourrées as opposed to the minuets or gavottes of other suites, and then the jig at the very end. But,
excellent. I'm going to drop this in the chat as well. And audience members, as we continue with this program, if you have any questions or comments that you'd like to share in the chat, we'll go over those at the end. So don't be shy. With any input or questions that you might have, and I just put the order of these so that folks can follow along here in the chat.
Certainly, thank you. So this will be the second suite of the 6 that he wrote in D minor. was the D minor suite of the which is the second suite of 6 from all of the Bach suites. You can hear quite a stark difference, even in, I'm sure, in my interpretation, but you can definitely see that they're like that. It's 4 of them are major, and 2 of them are minor, and they're all absolutely incredible works of musical art. It's fantastic. For the last piece of our program, we are going to be joined by my wonderful and rock star wife. Her name is Emily Brebach. She is just about to start her 10th season with the Atlanta Symphony as the English horn and oboe player. We are going to be playing the something completely different. This is going to be, it's an arrangement of a duet that was originally written for flute and guitar, from what I understand, by Astor Piazzolla, the king of tangos. This is something that I actually arranged myself, and in doing so have absolutely shot myself in the foot by making things. Apparently, guitars have more strings than I do, and they're able to use them to their full advantage. So I will be trying to use mine for mine. So this is going to be Cafe 1930. I believe it's a movement of an tango suite. Suite of tangos.
Histoire du tango.
Bam. So we're going to be, this is Cafe 1930 for oboe and cello.
You guys, my two dogs were so moved by your music that they are now doing a very aggressive tango on my living room rug over here. That was fabulous.
Thank you.
Really, really nice work. What's it like to, this is a personal question, so I hope it's okay. What's it like to play together as a married couple? Like, do you get irritated with each other and are like, you went too fast at that part? Or like, is it, yes, all of the ups and downs of marriage in like a 6.5 minute tango?
Right, exactly. Well, we don't get to play together all that often. I did a recital a couple of years ago, and Barney arranged this for that recital so we could play together. It was actually at Agnes Scott. It was at the Atlanta Chamber Music Festival. So we don't get to do it very often, but it's fun when we do. But yeah, we definitely are both very. We have strong opinions, both of us. I think that's a fair.
Well, you are masters of your craft, so of course you would be headstrong about it.
Right. Some of our collegial qualities might be left at the doorstep.
Well, it's fabulous, and Barney, that arrangement, it's so beautiful with oboe.
It is.
I love it.
It worked out well.
Yeah, and you know what? You did make up for the fact that you do have less strings than a guitar, but you couldn't tell.
Yeah, I think it's a great cello part. I think it works really well. There's sustain on a cello that they don't have on a guitar, and I think Barney's arrangement of this is really great. I really love it. I know he every time it's like, well, maybe we should put the piazzella on a program. He's like, okay. I just think it sounds wonderful, so I'm a fan.
It is really, really nice piece. That was lovely. We've got a couple of questions in the chat, and a lot of folks are really intrigued about your cello. Barney, if you could tell us a little bit about your cello and its amazing sound.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Bye. We love you.
This is a cello that was made in the 1830s in France. It is new to me as of about 3 years ago, and it's a large step up from what I was playing before. But it's an approximate date in it because there is a label on the inside, but it's not correct. And it's what a lot of musicians consider to be a player's cello, being that it's not as much of an investment. It's certainly worth less money, but also it won't appreciate the same way that something with a signed label that is actually what it is on the inside would be. But it's perfect. It's perfect for me, and I am so thrilled to have found it.
Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful instrument. And Saskia asks, why only the 2 pegs?
The 2 pegs. Saskia, clear from Virginia. These are called posture pegs. They allow. I am a very tall person with a very short torso, and that means that my knees get in the way and my arms get in the way. So the way that I have my cello, if I had pegs, I'd have to have it out like this. And so then that means that my bow arm would have to be up here, and that creates a lot of tension. These posture pegs, I actually have a key on all of my key rings that plugs into here, and that's how I tune with it, but it allows the scroll to get much closer to my head. And so therefore, much more streamlined to the center of my body.
This is lovely. It's an ergonomic cello.
It just looks weird. It's off balance.
But I mean, a fabulously clever solution to your to the anatomy and physiology of both you and the cello.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's great. That's great. It's such an old instrument. Can you feel all of the energy and spirits in there from everyone who played it before?
You know, it's amazing to think about what this cello could have been around when it was made. You know,
Yeah.
and the possibilities of you know being there when Mendelssohn was composing, certainly when Brahms was composing, and when all of these greats, Debussy and Fauré and Chopin and like all these, that you know that this cello could have been there. It's possible. I don't even know anything about the previous owner. I found it at a shop here in Atlanta, um, and and so I don't know who played on it before, or any kind of lineage from there, or where it was, or how it was. But it came to me, and I'm thrilled to be able to be its caretaker for at least a few years.
Well, it's a beautiful, beautiful instrument, and you play it extremely well. So it looks like we've got a lot of compliments. Everyone is loving the show. I'm not seeing any more questions. If anybody else in the audience has any more questions for either of our musicians, drop them in the chat here. Barney, we have so enjoyed having you this evening, and Emily too. That last piece was great. It was oh, and Frankie, we've enjoyed having you.
Frankie even made his little debut today, also at the mailman as he drove past.
Yes, yes.
Well, you have to be guarded against these things. I mean, you never know if it's a mailman or a marauding invader to your home. We count on Frankie for these things.
Right.
Well, it's great to see you both, and thank you again. And thank you everyone in the audience for coming this evening. It has been just lovely. Our very last music department event of the semester is going to be on Tuesday at 1 p.m. It's our juried music recital. So that's kind of like final exams for our music students. They're going to be playing sort of their best works. And again, it's at 1 p.m. That's what we call community hour on campus. And that's virtual as well. So check out calendar.agnescott.edu and learn more about that. So thanks again, you guys. That was wonderful. Everybody have a great, great evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.